America used to be a paradise of cheap goods and opportunities, but recently, everything has changed, and perhaps you have felt it too. It really sucks. We already have a hard time affording groceries here in Seattle because it's a very high cost of living. It's very upsetting that we're going to have to pay more. It's going to affect everybody's lives, and everything is increasing, has been, and continues to go up. Everything from food, medicine, to electronic components, all are incredibly expensive. Even with money, it's hard to buy because some supermarkets and local stores have closed. Many of America's top retail corporations, from Walmart and CVS to Apple, which once served as pillars for millions of Americans, are now quietly scaling back, leaving communities without shopping options, without hope of recovery, and thousands of workers unemployed. In this video, we will explore 10 states that are falling into crisis as retail corporations rapidly cut back. If you ever thought that this doesn't concern me, take a closer look because what is happening in these states might soon knock on the door of your neighborhood. Right now, this video is made for the purpose of exploration and analysis based on public data sources and the press. All content is intended for informational purposes and does not aim to attack any individual or organization. And now, let's start with the first state, once the bustling shopping hub of America, but now sinking into a haunting silence. If you are a longtime resident of New York, you surely cannot forget having to squeeze into Target in Brooklyn every weekend, or taking the whole family to Best Buy to buy decorations before Christmas. But now, that hustle and bustle has been replaced by silence. Many places have closed permanently, and for lease signs are appearing more frequently than neon lights. New York, the symbol of modern American life, is witnessing a wave of mass withdrawals from retail giants. Just last year alone, it is estimated that nearly 1,000 retail stores closed across the state, including many familiar names such as CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Bed Bath & Beyond, and even Macy's, a retail icon that was once the pride of Manhattan. Walgreens of today looks very much the same as the Walgreens of yesterday. It hasn't really evolved and adapted. But behind that withdrawal lies a sad reality for thousands of workers in New York. Jobs like cashiers, salespeople, or warehouse workers that once helped them support their families and make a living in expensive cities have suddenly disappeared without any warning. According to the State Department of Labor, the unemployment rate in the retail sector in New York currently exceeds 7.5%, which is also the highest level since the pandemic. Meanwhile, commercial rent in residential areas has increased by 11% in just 1 year, and the cost of living in New York City remains double the national average. From the consumer's perspective, life is no easier. Many stores closing means fewer choices, goods becoming scarce and expensive. At a shopping mall, many people are also taking the opportunity to buy clothes, most of which are produced in Asia. I bought some jeans for my daughter. I'm trying to hurry up and get as much as I can as far as basic necessities, things that we need. Older people who are not used to shopping online have to travel further to buy food and medicine, while gas prices are also rising. Some are planning to stock up to avoid price increases and limit multiple trips. Take a trip to Costco, get some emergency supplies, stock up on some things. Many families have to tighten their spending to ensure their livelihoods during a period when everything seems more expensive than ever. I have 2 boys, they're constantly hungry. My wife already has actually started to sort of penny pinch, not buy overbuy. The irony is that New York is not poor. Corporations are still reporting high profits, the financial market remains vibrant, but the neighborhoods that had been loyal to them for decades are now abandoned without a word of farewell. And if even New York, the largest commercial center in the United States, cannot retain retail chains, then what is happening in smaller, poorer, and less influential states? Let's continue to California, the most populous state, once a shopping paradise, but now hundreds of stores are at risk of disappearing overnight. There was a time in California when whenever Best Buy, Target, or Macy's launched attractive discount programs, long lines of people would queue up to make purchases. The bustling commercial avenues in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or San Diego were the starting point of countless American consumer dreams. But now, those lights are gradually dimming. California, the largest economy in the United States, is facing an unprecedented drought in the retail sector. According to a report by the California Retailers Association, it is estimated that more than 1,500 stores have closed just in 2024. Target, CVS, Walgreens, Nordstrom, and even Walmart have significantly reduced the number of branches in California. For many Californians, especially in rural and suburban areas, it now resembles a retail desert. a place where no major stores are present. The elderly are not used to shopping online, the poor do not have cars to travel far, and everyone is having to live with fewer choices and higher prices. A lot of the things we do get are from other countries, so it's just like, the prices are definitely already going up. A mother shared she has 3 young children, not yet teenagers, and only bought chicken sausages and a few necessities but spent $338 for a week's groceries. Almost all of the expenses were on food. How are we doing it? How are you affording groceries? How are we doing this? She suddenly recalled her youth when fruits, snacks, and orange juice were always available for friends to enjoy freely at home. But now a box of strawberries can cost up to $25, making her wonder, would our parents back then have been shocked? Obviously it wasn't $25 then, but you get the point. Are you affording groceries comfortably? Should I get a second job? Should I work more? I don't know. According to data from UC Berkeley, consumer goods prices in California have increased by an average of 9.1% over the past 12 months, higher than the national average. People are having to hunt for discounts to get through the week, and many families have to choose buy food or pay for their parents' medicine. As for many ordinary workers, the departure of retailers one by one is taking with them the jobs that once supported their entire lives. For older workers, it is not easy for them to find new jobs as almost every company is cutting back or using AI to replace them. And if even California, once a symbol of the American dream, cannot maintain its basic retail chains, which state can still hold hope for middle-class families? Keep going, because in the next state, the closure of a store not only inconveniences people, but also puts them in a situation where they cannot buy essential food or medicine within dozens of miles. Many people still refer to Texas as the Mecca of shopping malls, where everyone has the opportunity to shop for goods with low taxes, affordable prices, and reasonable living costs. Other cities like Austin and Houston are also witnessing the continuous rise of commercial areas. However, now amidst this wave of development, an unpleasant reality is emerging. The retail stores that once served the working class are gradually disappearing. Just in 2024 alone, it is estimated that more than 300 major retail stores have closed in Texas, including Walmart, Walgreens, Dollar Tree, and CVS, especially in suburban areas and low-income towns. Even rapidly expanding residential areas are not immune to this wave. Meanwhile, the prices of food and consumer goods continue to rise, causing people to shop less or drive dozens of miles to reach the few remaining stores. Many stores are forced to close due to rising operating costs, and they choose to cut back to maintain profits. For thousands of workers, this is an unexpected job loss, leaving them no time to react. For families living on the wages of workers, drivers, or teachers, this is the loss of an affordable shopping place. Texas consumers are caught between two choices. One is to accept high prices from the remaining exclusive stores, or order online with high shipping fees and long wait times. In El Paso and the suburbs of Houston, many elderly people who were used to walking to the nearby CVS or Walmart now have to ask family members for rides or not go anywhere at all. Without a car, without health, they have to live with less, live temporarily, live day by day. When the big supermarkets close, the small businesses around them are also affected. Security declines, real estate loses value, and the community loses a place to meet and connect. The centers that once helped maintain local spirit now feel abandoned. This reality makes many of us wonder, why in a vast and potentially rich state like Texas are people unable to access health-supporting pharmaceuticals, a bag of rice, or a can of soup at reasonable prices? And if even Texas, hailed as the ideal growth region in America, cannot maintain its stores serving the common people, so what is happening in the states that are already poor, resource scarce, and have less voice? Don't look away, because the next state is where people have to drive 40 minutes just to buy a pack of cotton swabs, and where retailers have almost completely disappeared in many small towns in Mississippi. Walmart used to be the center of the entire community. Not just a place to shop, but a place to meet, chat, and feel that we are still connected. But now, the last remaining stores are also facing the risk of leaving in a very quiet manner. It is estimated that in the past 18 months, more than 700 retail stores have closed across the state, mainly discount chains like Dollar Tree, CVS, and Walgreens. In addition, about 40% of rural counties no longer have large-scale grocery stores, turning into food deserts. The state's policies may not be strong enough to retain businesses. taxes remain high, and the infrastructure is insufficient to attract alternative investments. Along with that, the mass exodus of the young population leaving behind a community mostly composed of the elderly has significantly reduced purchasing power and caused community aging. It's not just about losing a place to shop. For a lot of workers in this state, it's also about losing the financial support they once counted on. Now, thousands of folks who used to make a living from jobs at local stores are facing long-term unemployment, and honestly, many don't even qualify for benefits. And for the people, the regular consumers here in Mississippi, when those big chains pull out, they're left with no choice but to buy expensive goods from the few exclusive stores that are left. Basic expenses like diapers, food, and medicine have jumped by 10 to 20%, and that's pushed a lot of families into debt. The next generation is feeling it too. Sure, simple meals can help parents save money, but they often lack the nutrients needed to keep their kids healthy. CEOs keep saying these cuts are just necessary business decisions, but really, is there anything necessary about leaving a community without any means, any infrastructure, or any real options? When profit is the only thing that matters, who's going to look out for folks who just need a modest store to get by? Alright, so next, we move from rural Mississippi to a state that was once the industrial heart of America, Illinois. There was a time, especially in the suburbs of Chicago, when you could find just about anything within a few miles. Walgreens on one corner, Walmart across the street, Target right next to the pharmacy, and a CVS chain by your favorite bakery. It wasn't just about convenience. It was about feeling like you lived in a complete community, where everything you needed was always close by. But now, even those busy neighborhoods can't keep these big retailers around. Walgreens, which is actually headquartered in Chicago, has closed hundreds of branches across the state. CVS is planning to slowly pull out from middle-income and senior neighborhoods. Walmart is scaling back, and Dollar Tree has said it'll close underperforming stores too. But the thing is, these closures aren't happening because there aren't enough customers. It's just that the people living there aren't wealthy enough to bring in the kind of profits these companies want. And, when a store shuts down, it's not just losing a place to shop. It's the loss of a place that pays dozens of people, sometimes even more. Now, thousands of people who once worked in retail stores and supermarkets, from clerks to managers, are having to settle for seasonal jobs or retire early, something they never planned on. And for the consumers who used to think they could buy everything they needed at a fair price, this has turned into a real challenge. There are folks who now have to ride the bus for over 40 minutes just to get fresh food. With fewer choices, prices go up, and people are stuck shopping at a handful of small stores where prices aren't really controlled. So why Illinois? Why has a state that was once a symbol of industry, home to millions of middle-class families, now become a place where people feel left behind, even right in the middle of the city? There was a time when places like Pittsburgh, Scranton, and Allentown were considered the backbone of American manufacturing: steel mills, coal mines, railroads, and yes, Walmart, Kmart, CVS stores that served the working community. You'd work hard all week, maybe even weekends, then take your wife and kids to the store, maybe stop by your favorite restaurant. That was a simple life, but one folks were proud of. But today, the retail supply chain in Pennsylvania is at risk of disappearing for good. Dollar Tree is closing stores left and right, CVS and Walgreens are leaving neighborhoods with lots of working-class folks and seniors. Populations Walmart has left behind include many small towns where it used to be the only source of livelihood. It's estimated that more than 700 major retail stores have closed in Pennsylvania from 2022 to 2024, partly because rental prices increased by nearly 10% in central areas like Philadelphia. Many domestic stores just couldn't survive. Meanwhile, neighboring states like Ohio and New Jersey are offering more attractive tax incentives, which are pulling businesses to relocate. When retail businesses leave, many workers who were employed there have to switch to low-paying, unstable jobs without benefits. And as for consumers, they face a lot of difficulties in shopping. The prices of goods are rising, and even if you manage to have an income to shop, it's not certain that what you buy is good, durable, or even safe for your health. If just going to the market becomes an expensive and difficult journey, then what's left to preserve the fragile connection of a community that was once bonded through the simplest things? From the industrial towns of Pennsylvania, we now move to a place once known as the Arsenal of Democracy, Michigan. But today, beneath the glory of Detroit, Flint, or Grand Rapids, lies a pretty grim reality. As retailers face the risk of pulling out, entire communities are affected. For many Americans, Michigan used to be the epitome of stability: car factories, pensioned workers, 24/7 supermarkets and drugstores in every neighborhood. You could walk a few minutes to CVS, Walgreens, or stop by Dollar General to buy a simple dinner. But now, many neighborhoods in Michigan no longer have any major retail stores within a 10 to 15-mile radius. Detroit, once a city that was the pride of the working class, is now one of the fastest areas losing retail stores in the country. Walmart closed many branches in predominantly black and low-income neighborhoods. Walgreens and CVS have both withdrawn from once bustling neighborhoods, leaving behind empty buildings and old faded signs quietly hanging on the windows. When the store closes, the small restaurants, bakeries, and dry cleaners gradually disappear as well. The once bustling neighborhoods have now become silent, deserted. When the flow of consumer spending is lost, an entire community faces a ton of challenges. When there are only a few stores left in the area, prices rise, choices decrease, and people can no longer shop smartly as they used to. The cost of transporting goods has increased, driving up prices from food to essential items. In Flint, there are neighborhoods where residents have to drive more than 45 minutes to reach an open store, way too much for the elderly and low-income families. There's one thing that makes many people even more heartbroken. Michigan is not the poorest place in America, but it was one of the first and fastest places to be left behind by corporations deciding it was no longer a profitable investment. If even basic needs like buying rice and milk have become a journey full of anxiety, then can we still call that a middle-class life? There was a time when communities in Georgia, from Manusta to the rural towns, took pride in the simple stability of life. You could stop by Dollar General to buy dinner, CVS for medicine, and then swing by the nearby Walmart to pick up a few more essentials. Those stores weren't glamorous, but they were a part of life, a part of that feeling of, I can still manage. In the past 2 years, hundreds of retail stores have closed in Georgia. Familiar names like Family Dollar, Walgreens, Walmart, and Dollar Tree have all withdrawn from areas with lower income or lower population density. Some communities in Georgia currently have no grocery or pharmacy stores within a 20-mile radius. When a store closes, you lose more than just a shopping place. You lose jobs, convenience, connection, and most importantly, the belief that the system is still serving you. A resident in Manusta recounted, "We lost the largest supermarket in town. Now people only have the choice between overpriced convenience stores or driving dozens of miles if they want to buy new goods and fresh food." Georgia may just be one of many states witnessing this, but the pace here is a warning. And in the next state, people don't even remember the last time they stepped into a regular store. Nevada is, the land of bright lights, casinos, high-rise hotels, and the dazzling Las Vegas Strip. But just a 20-minute drive away from the central area, you'll find neighborhoods where Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and Family Dollar stores have successively closed down. No big announcements, no grand gestures, just gone. In the past 2 years, it's estimated that Nevada has lost more than 410 major retail stores, including chains like Walmart, Walgreens, Office Depot, and Big Lots. Las Vegas Valley, once a shopping paradise for both locals and tourists, now sees more than 1/4 of retail space vacant. For many residents in cities like North Las Vegas, Henderson, or Reno, losing a store means losing the rhythm of daily life. Those who work the night shift in casinos no longer have a place to shop after their shift ends. The elderly have to rely on mobile food pantries because the nearest supermarket has closed. When large retail chains withdraw from middle-class neighborhoods, they take not only goods but also jobs, foot traffic, and a sense of safety. People no longer have a choice, they're left dependent on much more expensive small shops. We still call Las Vegas the city that never sleeps, but who is awake to take care of those who work quietly behind those lights, when they lose their jobs, lose their shops, and gradually lose their place? Nevada is not poor, but many communities in this state are being treated as if they do not exist. And now, we come to the last state on the list, a place that was once a model of growth in the Northeast, but today is becoming a symbol of what happens when retailers decide to pull out completely, no matter how much the community needs them. For many American families, Ohio used to be a symbol of stability, not too flashy, not too impoverished, a place with factories, schools, churches, and stores you could rely on. Walmart, CVS, Target, Kroger, familiar names in everyday life. But now, retail stores are leaving in waves, not because the people don't need them, but because the corporations believe they are no longer profitable. Dollar Tree is closing numerous branches, CVS is closing its locations in the city center, Walmart withdraws from low and middle-income neighborhoods. Many communities have lost all their options. Only gas stations, small convenience stores with high prices and limited goods remain. A man in his 70s in Youngstown said, "I used to walk to the store near my house every morning. Now that place is closed. I live alone, no car, no one is taking me, so I had to stay home." A mother of 3 in Akron recounted, "I don't know how to teach my children when every time we go to the market we have to choose between a nutritious meal or buying medicine." The store closing is not just a change in business strategy, that means losing a community connection point, losing job opportunities for local residents, and losing the feeling of still being in control of one's life. We are often taught that hard work will bring a good life, but when retail chains are simultaneously abandoning those who have worked their entire lives, is that message still true? Is this the fault of the market or a sign that America is gradually withdrawing from the very people who built it? From New York to Ohio, from California to Mississippi, millions of Americans are losing what seems to be the simplest thing, a place close to home to buy the essentials for life. And what is disappearing? Not just goods, jobs, or convenience, but the feeling of being cared for, being served, of existing in a system that listens. Which state are you living in? Are the stores around you still open? Have you or your relatives been affected by the cuts from retailers? Please share your story in the comments section below, and if you find this content thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with those who are also looking for answers like you. The content in this video is compiled from articles, reports, bulletins, and publicly available data from the press, statistical agencies, and social media. All information is for reference and current affairs analysis only, and does not represent any official statements from the government or businesses. The purpose of the video is to provide a multifaceted perspective, stimulate critical thinking, and encourage dialogue within the community, not to label or attack any organization or individual.